Hey guys, TheAirsoftTech here, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at another gun that I worked on here, specifically this VFC Avalon. Now, I know pretty much all the videos I've done recently are gun builds. That's because that's pretty much all that I've been doing with Airsoft recently is working on these guns, which is great and all, and I really do enjoy it, but unfortunately it's not the best content for YouTube. Typically the how-to videos and the guides and stuff like that are a little bit more appealing to my audience, but nevertheless, got a gun build here. It's fairly simple. We'll break it down and talk about it. Really, the person who sent it to me just wanted me to take a look at a few things and make sure the gate tighten was working appropriately and just get it working appropriately in general. And along with it, he wanted a full tune-up and all the good stuff that goes along with that. So that's what we'll talk about today. So this VFC Avalon is a super cool looking gun. Feels nice, everything just feels high quality, aluminum, all that kind of stuff. Externally, it's just pretty much stock, except for this here and this here. Obviously those don't come with the stock gun, but those are just add-ons that the person who sent it to me had on it already, and they just kind of left it for shipping purposes, I guess. Anyway, didn't do anything with the externals, so just wanted to gloss over that, and we will jump into the internals. We'll start with the hop-up chamber and barrel as we usually do. Underneath here you have a Mad Bull 6.03 steel barrel that kind of covers up to the suppressor over here. And then we also have a Pro-Win hop-up chamber. I just kind of glossed over everything, made sure it worked. The person who sent this to me really didn't want any work done to the barrel group, so I just kind of looked over it and made sure it worked. And it does work totally fine. It looks good, looks like it's installed appropriately, so I didn't really touch it any more than that. All right, and then internally, person who sent me this gun, like I said, had some work done to it previously that they weren't super satisfied with, / the person who was working on it really couldn't figure out a couple issues, so it was sent to me to figure out. Pretty much most of the stuff here is stock VFC, the piston, the cylinder and compression setup, the spring guide. Most of it is stock VFC. Stock motor, you have ASG 16:1 ratio gears in here, which are okay, not the greatest, but they work. And then I replaced all of the bearings with some solid steel 8mm bushings. Then of course you have a Gate Titan advanced model in here. Pretty basic settings. The VFC spring feels a little bit softer, and so we are having a decent bit of overspin with a 1V LiPo battery. Even on about 60% active braking, we're getting this overspin. So any less than 60%, it does tend to double shoot. Adaptive braking really isn't working that well for it, so I just manually clocked it at 60% active braking, and it's been working great. The problem with the Gate Titan was that one of the main wires was shredded, so I ended up having to close that up, make sure that the wire was actually fully intact, and then put some heat shrink around it to protect it, and now it is working perfectly. You have it wired to a Dean's connector with all the stock wiring. Like I said, stock VFC motor. This trigger is, I'm pretty sure it's a stock VFC trigger. I could be wrong, but it is an adjustable trigger, so I've adjusted it so that it does have a fairly short trigger pull, and then I've adjusted the Gate Titan to also have a fairly short trigger pull. Those are pretty much all the parts, and most of the work obviously did all the shimming, all the AOE correction, all the air seal perfection, radius the gearbox shell, JB welded my bushings in place, just basic stuff like that, and kind of did my usual TLC to the guns that I work on. So let's take it to the chrono, let's throw the upper back on and see what it clocks at. I have the gun plugged up to a pretty capable 11.1V LiPo battery that is fully charged, and obviously it's already plugged up, so the Gate Titan doesn't need to make the beep sound to initiate. It's already plugged up, it has already done that, so safety works great. Semi-auto clicks into place really satisfyingly. Here's semi-auto. Pretty crisp. Full auto. There you have it. As you can see, the gun is shooting about 390 to 395 FPS with the stock spring and pretty much all of the same stock compression parts. I do take that back. There is a different piston head on there, piston head inside of this gun. I think it's probably SHS. It just kind of came with the gun. It's probably some rebrand SHS, potentially a rebrand Lonex. I really don't know, but it's a different piston head nevertheless. So gun's going to be very durable. The gun's going to perform very well. Shouldn't really have many problems, especially if you're not running it on full auto constantly. Now, the stock motor is fairly inefficient, so it does get warm pretty quick. The shimming is good though, pretty low amp draw. Again, just the motor is a stock motor pulling on 16:1 ratio gears, M120 spring, plugged up to an 11 volt LiPo battery. It is going to get pretty warm. So that'd be one recommendation to the customer, is that if he does want to upgrade this gun further, I'd recommend maybe a 22 TPA motor. That'd keep your rate of fire a little bit lower than what it is currently. Your trigger response would go up, and you would have more predictable gear train rotation. So you wouldn't have as much overspin. 22 TPA motors are just a little bit slower, a little bit more predictable, and there are some pretty good 22 TPA motors out there that you can get for fairly cheap. And overall, your gun's more efficient and just better off with a better motor. All right, that's all I've got for you guys in this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and comment down below about what you think of this build. But I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever the heck I'm doing next. But until then, stay tuned, techs.